Welcome along to the final video in our series where we are creating a 3D model of the desktop organizer that we have been building in class. As you can see, this is the finished product and that's what we're working towards in this final video. So far though, we've got this far. We've created the carcass and the drawer. Now one thing I forgot to do in the previous video, like I forgot to do in the first video, was convert this carcass into a component. Okay, so I want you to click and drag over the top of the carcass to select it all. You should see all the blue outlines appear. Once you've selected it, just right click on that for me and make it a component, and I want you to call it carcass. Click OK. And that will make it one big shape. Okay, so if I click on it, it's all joined up together. So we've got our drawer, we've got our carcass. The next thing we're going to do is to start putting our own personal touches onto this design. So one of the personal touches you can do on your design is choose an image to laser engrave into your backboard. Okay, I've gone online and just found a random logo. I chose the Batman logo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to put that in on SketchUp. So what you need to do is head up to this folder at the top here and click on that and choose Insert. From there, you just go Your Computer. Hopefully you've got the picture you want saved onto your computer. Now the type of picture you want to put in is a black and white picture, and it needs to be a PNG file. Okay, and that PNG file needs to have a transparent background. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but I'll show you in class if you don't understand what that means. But here's my Batman logo with a transparent background. I'll just double click on it and I'll click I want to use this Batman logo as an image, not a material, just an image. Okay, now that will just upload it and you can see my Batman logo come into play. Now it gives some instructions down here. Pick the first point of the image. You can do double click to drop it and control by center. Okay, so I'm just going to basically click up here on my backboard once. And that's going the wrong way, so let me bring it up the other way. Something like that is how I want it to look. I'm going to have to use my move tool to move that down onto my backboard like so. Okay, now I'm just going to switch my view to the front view so I can see this bat clearly. It's not quite in the center, so I want to get it in the center. There we go, something like that looks pretty good. So that's how you bring in an image that you might want to engrave onto your desktop organizer. The next personal touch you can put onto this is some sidewalls. Okay, there's two ways to do this. I'll show you both ways and you can decide what is best. The first and easiest way is to just switch your view around to, I'll say the left view. I'm going to have to move this drawer out of the way for a moment. Okay, so here's our side view of the desktop organizer. What you can do is just grab a piece of 3mm ply and just basically nail it in to the side here. So the size of that ply, I'm just going to grab my rectangle tool. It doesn't start right in the corner of the backboard, it starts down here on the end of the carcass. This base bit. Okay, click on that and drag up. Now you want to come up, what is it? It's going to be 220 by 140. 220, 140. Let's have a look. I've done that the wrong way around, so let me do that one more time. If you haven't worked out by now, you just press Ctrl Z to undo any mistakes, or you can get little arrows down the bottom here and change them, like forward and backwards. So click on the bottom, let's go 140 by 220. Press enter, and there's our sidewall. Okay, I'm just going to pull that 3mm out. So that's how one of your sidewalls could look. You could have it there and you could put in some little screws along here. You might want to hold up some stationary items. You might want to have a little key rack. You could have a place for your lures or something. If you want to make a little tackle box out of this, it's up to you. It's time for you to get creative. Now you can put this sidewall on the other side as well. Okay, but I want to show you another way of doing the sidewall. I'll just triple click on this one first of all and make it a component, and I'll call it rectangle underscore side underscore wall. Okay, so rectangle sidewall. The next one we're going to do is in more of a triangle shape. Okay, so I'm going to swing around this side. I might just click on the right hand view. And from here, I'll just hold shift and hold down the mouse wheel and just come across a bit. What I'm going to use is the line tool, so that little pencil, to draw myself the next section. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top here. Not on the outside point, but the inside point. I'm going to click and come down to this corner just here. And I'm going to go down to the very bottom, click again, come across, not all the way out to the end, but just in one section. And then I'm going to connect it up the top. And that's how you get the other side wall that I was talking about. Okay, we just need to extrude this out. So grab your push-pull tool and just pull that out 3mm. That's another way of doing your sidewall, okay, in that triangle kind of shape, which does look pretty effective as well. Okay, so it's up to you how you do your sidewall. You can do one of each, like a rectangle like this, and just a triangle kind of shape like that, or you could do 2 triangles, or you could do 2 rectangles. You might not even have a sidewall on one side. Okay, it's up to you. Alright, I'm just going to triple click on this triangle sidewall, right click on it and make component, and I'll just call it triangle underscore sidewall. Click OK. And I'm just going to highlight everything just by clicking and dragging over it, and I'm going to just colour them in using my paint tool. Grab my paint bucket and they will colour in that nice wooden colour that I had before. Okay, so that's about as far as I need to show you in this tutorial. Feel free to add other things in. In the past I've seen kids add, as I said before, little hooks along the top here. They've added maybe a little shelf. They put some more laser engravings on. They've added pen holders and pencil holders in here using little tubes. Okay, so there's all sorts of things that you can add to your desktop organizer. If you would like to get this drawer inside of your carcass, a little bit fiddly, but it can be done. You need to grab your move tool. Just move it back over here for a moment. Now you've got to play around with this until you get it right. So I'm going to grab, let's say, this front right corner. I'm going to try and put it up here. Level with that. That's almost got it first time, I think. No, not quite, but pretty close. We might need to just shuffle it across a little bit. I don't know, it's just a bit of trial and error until you get that into a good position. But basically that drawer should be just sticking out. It shouldn't be any lower than the carcass, which it isn't. Something like that looks pretty good. Okay, it's not quite fitting perfectly, but close enough. Okay, so that is how you create your desktop organizer in 3D. I would like to see a finished desktop organizer in 3D and fully colored before you go ahead in the workshop and finish creating it out of timber. So the last thing I'll get you to do now is just highlight the whole thing, right click on it, make it a component and just call it desktop organizer. Click OK. So now that's one entirely big shape. Save it one more time and you are finished.